No one ever plans to start running from their own life. But Elena Pierce began running at 9 years old, not with her feet, with her heart. She had grown up in a house where beauty was currency and love was conditional. Her mother, Marissa Pierce, had been a seamstress for the wealthy women of Savannah. Every pin, every hem, every flawless crease was an attempt to stitch herself into a world she felt excluded from. She believed beauty was survival, and she taught Elena the same. "Sweetheart," she would say, holding Elena's chin gently but firmly, "never let them see you messy. Messy people get forgotten." Elena learned early how to hide her tears behind face powder, how to smile through exhaustion, how to stand perfectly still while her mother pinned dresses on her practice designs. But the moment that shaped her came at 15. Elena had shown her mother a sketch, her first original fashion design. It was vibrant, imperfect, alive. Her heart was in every stroke. Her mother barely glanced at it. "Cute," she said. It needs to be better, though. If you want to be someone in this world, you can't be average." It was in that moment something hardened inside of Elena. The moment she decided she would never ever be ordinary. She would outrun average, outrun disappointment, outrun the fear of being unseen. And she did. She climbed one design at a time until she became Elena Pierce, the designer everyone wanted, the one whose gowns wrapped red carpets, whose catalogs filled magazines, whose name carried weight. But every mile she ran away from her childhood, she accidentally ran past her future and past the quiet treasures she didn't know she already had. Chapter 2: Baxter and the Baby Years. Elena met Baxter Wells at a charity gala in Paris. She had been presenting her winter couture line, floating like a gold-lit angel through the crowd, when she spilled champagne all over her. One of the men in the room, who wasn't trying to impress her, he laughed like it really didn't matter. He asked her if she wanted to ditch the gala and get some food. She said yes. She realized her feet were moving. Baxter was calm. Where he was calm, she was always rushing. Soft where she was always sharp. Warm where she was always guarded. He didn't love her career. He loved her. He was the first person who ever cared about the rest of her results. When they married, she allowed herself to slow down. Just a little. Then Emily was born. And Elena felt something she hadn't expected. Fear. Fear she would fail. Fear she wouldn't be enough. Fear she wasn't built for softness. Her mother's voice lingered like old perfume. Messy people get forgotten. So Elena tried not to be messy. At the exact age her mother dismissed her potential, Elena became a mother herself. And without no meaning, she began revisiting the same pressure on herself. Be strong. Be perfect. Be flawless. Don't let them see weakness. Baxter Jr. arrived 4 years later. With his wide smile and warm cheeks, he adored his mother, but she was rarely home. Elena loved her children deeply, but she was terrified. She wouldn't know how to love them right. It felt safer to excel at the one thing she knew she was good at: work. She told herself it was temporary, just one more show, one more client, one more season, one more chance to prove she was worthy. But children do not pause their childhoods while parents chase the world. And Emily and Baxter Jr. were growing. Without her, they were growing. Chapter 3: Split Scenes. Flashbulbs backstage, ribbons of silk, models lined up in gowns. Elena had poured months of her life into this. Her phone buzzed on the work table. Emily was on the phone. "Mom, would you try to be at my recital tonight?" Elena stared at the message, stormed over, hoovering. Then a client tapped her on the shoulder. A seam ripped on the closing gown of the final walk. She shoved her phone into her purse without answering. Meanwhile, back home, Emily stood at the stage, staring at the curtains in her pale pink ballet dress. She was 15, graceful in a way that didn't come from training but from her soul. She peeked into the audience as parents shuffled in. Her dad arrived, breathless but smiling. He waved big like he always did. "Where's Mom?" she lip whispered. "She's trying," he said. But even he didn't sound convinced anymore. The lights dimmed. Music swelled. Emily stepped onto the stage. She lifted one arm with elegance of an angel, rising, but her eyes scanned the doorway just once more. Still no mother. Her chin trembled, but she danced away, and she danced beautifully. Meanwhile, Elena was stepping onto a private plane, assisting trailers behind her, garment bags lining the aisle, and the couture soldiers standing near. "Do you want sparkling water or still?" her assistant asked. Elena whispered almost too softly to be heard. "I just hope I'm not too late." But she was. For the recital, for many recitals, for quiet breakfasts and late night tears, for Wednesday night homework disasters and Friday movie nights. Time did not slow for her success, and the distance between mother and daughter silently widened. Chapter 4: The Collapse. It happened on a Thursday evening. Emily had been practicing a pirouette on stage in rehearsal. She was determined. This was her final showcase, and she wanted it to be perfect. Music played. She turned once, twice, 3 times, and then her body wobbled. She reached for the bar but missed. Emily collapsed on the floor. The room erupted. Her instructor screamed her name. Dancers bent down. Someone dialed 911. By the time they reached the hospital, Baxter was already racing through the doors, nearly sliding across the polished floors. "Emily Wells," he called. They ushered him to her. She was pale, hooked to machines, eyes fluttering weakly. "Daddy," she whispered. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here." The nanny stood beside him, trembling as she dialed Elena. The call. Elena was in Milan, surrounded by designers, models, a celebrity client demanding last-minute adjustments. The energy buzzed around her like a hive. Her phone lit up. It was Baxter calling. She pressed decline. It rang again and again. Finally, she hissed, "Everyone hold on," and stepped into the hallway. "What?" she snapped. "Elena, you need to come home." She rolled her eyes. "Baxter, I'm in the middle of the biggest—" "Elena," his voice broke. She collapsed. The ground dropped beneath her. Who collapsed? Emily. Silence. Elena, they're running tests. Serious tests. You need to come home. Elena pressed her hand against the cold hallway wall, breathing, trembling, the world around her moving. Interns rushing, fabrics swishing by, models laughing, but her entire soul froze. I'm on my way, she whispered. And for the first time in years, she ran towards her family, not away. Chapter 5. The word nobody wants to hear. The hospital smelled like a cold winter day. Machines beeped softly, their rhythmic tones fighting for peace in a place built for emergencies. Emily lay in the bed, looking impossibly small for 15. Elena stood frozen in the hallway. She had taken the fastest flight home, still in the same fitted blazer from Milan, mascara smudged from crying, somewhere over the Atlantic. Her designer heels echoed down the hallway like footsteps of a mother chasing lost time. Baxter met her down the hallway. Elena, his voice cracked. She braced herself. She expected concussion, dehydration, anemia, something fixable, something treatable. But doctors gathered in groups for small answers. They led her to Baxter in a quiet room so they could consult. The doctor, a young woman with kind eyes and tired shoulders, took a breath. We found a mass. The air vanished. A mass? Elena echoed. In her bone marrow and in her lymph nodes. Elena shook her head softly as if motion could undo the words. It appears to be a form of acute cancer and it's aggressive. A sound escaped Elena, halfway gasps and halfway sobs, like her soul had been punched. Baxter covered his eyes. They were red. The doctor continued gently. We caught it early enough to try treatment, but it's advancing quickly. We need to start immediately. Elena whispered, I wasn't there. This wasn't a statement. It was a confession. The doctor touched her hand. What matters now, Elena, is you're here now. But the truth weighed heavier than comfort. Here now could be too late. Chapter 6. 2 weeks of light. It happened slowly at first. Elena stepping away from the world she had built. Her phone rang. She silenced it. Emails poured in. She let them collect like dust. Agents panicked. Clients demanded her presence. Designers begged for her guidance. But Elena stayed in the hospital with Emily. She learned her daughter's world of fragments. Emily liked mint chip ice cream more than strawberry. She loved the smell of lavender lotion. She wrote poetry in a little blue journal. Poetry. She had a crush on a boy in her dance class named Roman. Her favorite position was arabesque because it felt like she was flying. She was afraid her mother didn't think she was interesting. The last one broke Elena's heart so deeply, she excused herself in the hallway and wept in her hands. Each day became a golden pocket of time. In the morning, Emily practiced gentle stretches in bed. Elena brushed her hair, learning how her daughter liked her curls pinned away from her face. In the afternoon, they played soft music. Sometimes Emily hummed her dance routines. In the evenings, the four of them, Elena, Baxter, Emily, and Baxter Jr., ate dinner at the hospital in the courtyard when weather allowed. Baxter Jr. told jokes he was quite funny. They made Emily laugh so hard She had to hold her ribs. For the first time in years, they were a family. Emily wasn't getting stronger, but she was glowing from the inside, and that's something richer than health. Being seen on one night, her mother stroked her hair. Emily spoke softly. Mom? Yes, sweetheart. Do you think I can dance again? At least one more time for the showcase? Elena froze. The doctor said Emily could attempt gentle movements, but not a full routine. Elena, she told Emily in a soft, fragile voice. Maybe. Emily said, dance is who I am. Please, please don't let me fade without doing the one thing I love. Elena pressed her forehead to her daughter's temple. Okay, she whispered. We'll do it. I'll be there. I won't miss a second. And she meant it. For once in her life, Elena Pierce didn't run. She stayed there, every breath, every beat, learning her daughter like a language she should have spoken a long time ago. Chapter 7, The Final Dance. 2 weeks after her collapse, Emily stepped back into the ballet studio. She was thinner and paler. Her arms trembled as she held the bar. Her legs shook under the weight of her own determination. But her spirit was bright, fierce, and alive. Her instructor cried when she saw her. Emily smiled softly. Don't cry. I want today to feel happy. Elena stood near the mirror, her heart splitting open at every stretch. She ignored the calls from Italy, from New York, from Vogue, wanting a feature. None of it mattered. She watched her daughter press through the pain, sweat beading her forehead as she repeated the same movement over and over. Plie, releve, arabesque, spin, fall. Get back up, try again. Elena whispered, That's my girl. By the night of the showcase, Emily was exhausted but ready. The lights dimmed. The crowd hushed. The stage smelled like old wood and warm velvet. And for the first time in her life, Elena Pierce sat front row, hands clasped tightly, breathing as if her daughter held the air in her palms. The music began, soft, gentle, hopeful. Emily stepped onto the stage, then she danced. Oh, how she danced! Every moment was a letter to her mother. Every turn was a prayer. Every leap was a declaration. See me, know me, remember me. Her body might have been failing, but her soul soared. People in the audience cried without understanding why. She danced like she was borrowing grace from heaven. When she finally bowed deeply, her mother stood, then her father, then the whole room. A standing ovation, but none louder than Elena's heart. She ran backstage, wrapped Emily in her arms, and cried into her hair. You're perfect, she whispered. I just wanted you to see me, Emily said. I just wanted you to see me, Mom. I see you, baby. Elena sobbed. I see everything. Emily smiled. Small, tired, beautiful. That's all I ever wanted. Chapter 8, The Last Night. They went home that night. The doctors allowed it. Said rest would be good. Said Emily had earned it. Baxter tucked Baxter Jr. into bed. Elena helped Emily into her room. Emily sat on the edge of her bed, looking out of the window at the moon. It looks like a spotlight, she said. Elena laughed weakly. Always the dancer in you. Emily crawled beneath her blankets. Mom? Yes, sweetheart. Thank you for coming back for me. Elena's throat crossed. I'm sorry it took so long. Emily shook her head gently. You're here now. That's what matters. She yawned, exhaustion washing over her. Mom, if something happens to me, will you read the poem in my journal? Elena stiffened. Nothing's going to happen. Promise me. Elena swallowed hard. I promise. I promise I'll read it. Emily smiled softly, eyes drifting close. I love you, Mom. I love you more, Elena whispered. Emily's breathing slowed, deepened. The room felt still, sacred, heavy with the soft hush of angels passing by. Around 4 a.m., Elena woke up with her heart pounding. Something felt wrong, too quiet. She ran to Emily's room. Her daughter lay there peacefully, skin pale, lips parted, eyes closed as if in mid-dream. Emily? Elena whispered. She touched her daughter's cheek. It was cold. No, no, she said. Her body collapsed beside the bed. God, please, not yet, not my baby, please. She screamed until her voice cracked, until Baxter rushed in, until the world shattered into pieces around them. Emily is gone. The final dance had been her last. Chapter 9. The poem she left behind. The house felt hollow, the kind of hollow that echoes when the wind moves through an open door. The kind of hollow that grief craves wide, deep, and inflexible by human hands. Emily's bed remained untouched, her dance shoes set neatly in the corner. Her lavender lotion still smelled like her smile. Elena sat at her daughter's desk, trembling, fingers opening the little blue journal Emily had kept secret for years. Inside, between pages, decorated with tiny doodles of ballet slippers and moonlit stages, she found a folded sheet of paper. It was sealed with a heart sticker. On the front, for Mom, only if I'm gone. Elena exhaled sharply as it stabbed her in her heart. She opened it. Emily's handwriting was soft, looping, unmistakably hers. Emily's final poem was titled Unknown Riches. You always chase the glitter, the lights, the gowns, the fame. But I would have traded every diamond just to hear you say my name. You dressed the world in beauty. The stars wore clothes you made. But I danced in quiet darkness in a room where dreams fade. Mom, I didn't need Paris or Rome or Milan's embrace. I just needed Saturday mornings with sunlight on your face. I didn't need the runway or celebrities you adore. I needed you in the audience, clapping just a little more. Life is full of treasures that money cannot buy, like stories whispered through the door and hugs that make you cry. The richest I've ever been was when you saw my final dance. I felt like I mattered finally because you finally gave me a chance. So don't chase gold in foreign lands or diamonds overseas. The greatest wealth you'll ever hold lives in the moments such as these. If you're reading this, I'm dancing now, where pain can't touch my feet, and heaven's stage is wide and warm, and God says, I'm complete. P.S. If you get this note, Mom, please don't cry too long for me. Style me for your final rest, the prettiest ballerina I can be. Tell Dad I'll always love him and my brothers too. And promise me you'll be the family I always dreamed came true. Elena folded the desk over, sobbing with her arms hanging. Not just sorrow, but realization. Her daughter, her very own daughter, had been a treasure chest she'd never opened. Chapter 10, The Funeral. Gray clouds hung low as if heaven bowed its head. The service was held in a small chapel with stained glass windows that cast soft blue and pink arrows across Emily's pale pink casket. Elena had dressed her herself for her final rest, hands trembling, heartbreaking, fulfilling her daughter's final request. Emily looked like a dream. Soft ballerina makeup, a white tulle skirt, silk ribbons tied around her wrist, her hair brushed gently, curled at the ends. Perfect, an angel dressed by her mother. Guests filled the chapel until standing room overflowed. Baxter held Baxter Jr.'s hand tightly, his eyes swollen from days without sleep. Elena sat in the front row, Emily's journal clutched to her chest. The pastor approached the pulpit. He opened the Bible to Psalms 34 and 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Then he looked at Elena. Sometimes God gives us treasures so precious we fail to see it because we're looking in the wrong direction. The words pierced her heart. Emily was a light, a dancer not only on stage but in life. And her life teaches us what Jesus in Matthew 6:21 said, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." People cried openly, but none cried harder than Elena. Chapter 11, The Eulogy and the Warning. When the pastor stepped aside, he looked gently at Elena. "It's time," he whispered. She walked slowly to the podium, legs shaking beneath her, clutching Emily's poem. Her voice broke before she even began. "She loved to dance," she said through trembling breath. "Not just on stage," her voice cracked, "but in life." She wiped her face in studying herself. "My daughter taught me more in 15 years than the world taught me in 45. She looked at the crowd, designers, celebrities, parents, dancers, neighbors, strangers who had followed Emily's storyline. "I spent my life styling stars, but I forgot the brightest one in my home." Silence felt heavy. "I chased runways while my daughter chased moments with me." People bowed their heads, tears streaming. "And now I understand. The greatest riches God gives us aren't found in fame." She pressed her hand over her heart, "but in family." She looked at Emily's casket. "I can't get back the years I missed, but I can spend the rest of my life honoring the love she left behind." She turned to the audience, voice stronger now. "To every parent, to every mother, to every father," she leaned forward slightly, "don't miss your own unknown riches." Sniffles echoed through the pews. Your child's laugh, your teenager's stories, your baby's first, your daughter's dreams, your son's victories, the moments are true wealth. Her voice caught. "Don't wait for loss to wake you up." She placed Emily's poem on the podium. "Please, hold your children close. Know them, see them, treasure them." She stepped back, the chapel filled with soft weeping. Chapter 12, The Legacy and New Life. The weeks after Emily's funeral were quiet, too quiet, but grief, when carried with purpose, becomes transformation. Elena resigned from her firm, sold her stake, shut down all upcoming shows. People called her crazy, ungrateful, unwise. The press had a field day. She didn't care. She launched a new brand from home, a digital fashion magazine and blog called Unknown Riches. It wasn't about runways anymore. It was about life, about love, about what truly mattered. Baxter slowed down too. Less travel, fewer deals, more dinners at home. Baxter Jr. blossomed under the new attention, becoming a talkative, expressive, and joyful son. A year later, Elena found herself staring at a positive pregnancy test. Late, but here. Her knees buckled. She cried deeply, loudly, and gratefully. When the doctor confirmed the news, she whispered, "Her name will be Emily." One day, she discovered it actually was a girl so that her legacy could come true. Emily was born. Sunlight poured into the room like warm applause. Elena held her tiny daughter close. "You have a big sister in heaven," she whispered, "and she taught me how to love you right." Baxter kissed her forehead. "We're a family now, for real this time." And they were. Not perfect, not polished, but present, living their unknown riches. You've just listened to A Beyond Strange Art original audiobook written and read by Teresa Cole. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like and subscribe and look forward to weekly uploads. See the description box for access to Beyond Strange Art Gallery Store.